And Sam got back to me and went, well, look, I've got Joe Joyce sparring Hughie Fury, and his dad Peter said you're more than welcome to come down, he'll show you little bits and bobs and show you little things in the pro game. So I was like, yeah. So I went down with my amateur coach and he was like, right, I want you to spar. So he had me sparring Tommy Fury, and he'd actually, I remember him saying to Tommy, right Tommy, don't you dare lay a glove on her, don't you hit her, just wear it on your defence. And I remember thinking, I'm going to absolutely batter you here, Tommy. And I swear down, I couldn't lay a glove on him.
Really?
I could not lay a glove on him I think we done 4 threes and I could not touch him. I've boxed since the age of 11, and there's been plenty of things, plenty of situations that would have stopped most people from boxing. Plenty. I remember when I was about 13-year-old and I went to spar at another club in Sunderland actually, and when I got there I remember the coach pointing at me and going, what's that? And at the time I remember just pretended I didn't hear, and my coach went, well, it's our female boxer. No females allowed in here. Looking back now, that was shocking, that was disgusting. And if I'd have been anyone else would have went home and went, oh my god, maybe cried, I'm not going back, give up. But I think if you've got a love for something, no matter what anyone else can tell you, if it makes you happy, then do it.
October Red Boxing, joined by the one and only Savannah Marshall. First of all, I'd like to say it's actual honour to meet you, somebody that I've been following through their career, you and your coach, very close coach, Peter Fury. Welcome to the channel.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's the first time we've met in person, so yeah.
Right then, we're going to talk a little bit, because I've never spoken to you before, what I like to do is just to get to know the fighters a little bit much. And one of the things that stuck out for me is your relationship with Peter. So how did you two start working together?
So I first come into contact with Peter, I just turned pro, I just signed with Mayweather Promotions, and I was due to go to America for my debut. And it was a guy called Sam Jones had actually set up the whole Mayweather thing for me. So I remember ringing Sam and saying, look Sam, I've had no experience with pro boxing, I'd never been in a pro gym, I'm still with my amateur coach. And Sam got back to me and went, well, look, I've got Joe Joyce sparring Hughie Fury, and his dad Peter said you're more than welcome to come down, he'll show you little bits and bobs and show you little things in the pro game. So I was like, yeah. So I went down with my amateur coach and he was like, right, I want you to spar. So he had me sparring Tommy Fury, and he'd actually, I remember him saying to Tommy, right Tommy, don't you dare lay a glove on her, don't you hit her, just wear it on your defence. And I remember thinking, I'm going to absolutely batter you here, Tommy. And I swear down, I couldn't lay a glove on him.
Really?
I could not lay a glove on him I think we done 4 threes and I could not touch him. He was slipping, sliding, hands down, and that was my first experience of professional boxing.
So then moving through that first experience, because what I will say to you, your style is very loose but very heavy. Is that a style that you had when you were an amateur, or is that something that you developed under Peter?
No, not at all. I'd been an international boxer from the age of 17 to 26 when I turned over. So I was your typical hands up around your temples, forwards and backwards straight lines.
You in that now?
Oh, and I remember one of the first pad sessions where I would Pete was like, drop your hands. I was like, what? He was like, drop your hands. He had my hands here, and I was hitting the pads, and I kept bringing them back up. It was like, get them down. And then for hours in the mirror, he had me doing little footwork drills, and I was in the mirror like that. And I remember looking, thinking, you are going to get knocked out. You are crap. That's what I remember thinking. And then in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, Savannah, he's the only one who's offered to help you. Just listen to what he says. But like I said, it's the style he's taught me. There's so many elements to it. I mean, after I become world champion, after beating Hannah Rankin, I remember going in the gym and he was like, right, we're going to go south. I could always switch it. Well, I couldn't, but I could do a little bit of switch, and he taught me, and he was like, right, I want you to totally concentrate on going southpaw. And I was like, well, I've just become world champion, surely my style now is good enough. No, there's got so much to learn. So it's just constantly, like even this camp, we've been doing something that I've never done before.
And that is what I like about the Fury style, because I've always said you are literally like the female version of Tyson Fury. That movement that you've got, you know, the way you are slick with your punches, but you land them and they really do count. You're very, very heavy-handed. So it's nice to see that he develop that style? Because you are quite relaxed, your hands are low, and it's amazing to hear that when you were like amateur, your hands were up.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've always been able to dig.
Okay.
But
You can't teach the power, can you?
I think it's always been there, but Peter's taught me how to punch properly.
Right.
Even now he says a lot of women don't punch properly. So he's definitely taught me the right way to punch, and especially when you're settling your feet as a pro. Yeah.
So your style then, compared to your opponents, we move it forward to fight night. How have you prepared? And I get it, you're not going to give me tactics or anything. You know that she's tough. She obviously wants to take the belt home with her. What do you see as sort of like chinks in her armour?
For me, it's a bit of a switch hitter. She can switch southpaw or orthodox.
Fair enough.
She's a bit unorthodox, I would say. And to be honest, they're probably the West. They're probably the West, you know, the type of people that box because they're unpredictable. So, yeah, I've had a long, tough camp with 2 camps I've done on FemK, so it's going to be an exciting fight.
When you say 2 camps, elaborate on that. Why?
We were meant to fight this time last year, April the 10th last year. We were meant to fight in fight week. FemK tested positive for COVID, so that's why that fight never happened.
Here we go. I'm always getting wrapped up. You're always getting taken away from me, Savannah. So how do you predict that fight going? Obviously, you're going to get the win. Yep.
Oh, 100%. But I think I'm not taking anything away from FemK. She's been in with some tough girls. She's been in with Lindsay DeRoss, the Swede. She's been with Alicia Napoleon, obviously Clarissa. And she's never been dropped, she's never been stopped, so I'm not looking for anything like that on Saturday. I'm just looking for a good tidy win, and then, you know, I'd be happy with that.
And we talk about that. I just want to say it's massive for females in boxing, and to see you headlining a card, starting to bring a lot of new eyes onto the sport. Looking out there and you see maybe a younger version of yourself, a female that's thinking of getting into boxing, what advice would you give them?
I've boxed since the age of 11, and there's been plenty of situations that would have stopped most people from boxing. Plenty. I remember when I was about 13-year-old and I went to spar at another club in Sunderland, actually, and when I got there I remember the coach pointing at me and going, "What's that?" And at the time I remember just pretended I didn't hear, and my coach went, "Well, it's our female boxer." No females allowed in here, and I wasn't allowed to spar. And at the time, I didn't particularly like sparring. I like pads and all that. So at the time, I remember thinking, I didn't want to spar anyway. But looking back now, that was shocking. That was disgusting. And if I'd have been anyone else would have went home, went, "Oh my God," maybe cried, "I'm not going back," give up. But so I think if you've got a love for something, no matter what anyone else can tell you, if it makes you happy, then do it.
Positive words. Savannah Marshall, all the best. I'll see you at the weigh-in tomorrow, but thank you so much for this.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Hi, and thank you for watching October Red Boxing. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications. You can also find us on Instagram at October Red Boxing and on Twitter, October Red UK. And remember, at October Red, we stay ready.